I think it's better if you don't come to Katie's wedding." The words hung in the air between us like smoke. Michelle said it so casually, like she was suggesting we skip dessert or take a different route home. She didn't even look up from her phone. I'm 32, been with Michelle for 3 years, living together for 1. We were at that comfortable stage where you start thinking about forever. Or at least, I thought we were. "What do you mean?" I asked, setting down my coffee cup. "It's just, Trevor's going to be there. Katie was friends with both of us back in college, and she invited him. I don't want things to be awkward." Trevor, the ex-boyfriend she'd dated for 5 years before me. The one she said she'd completely moved on from. "So let me get this straight. You want me to skip your best friend's wedding because your ex is attending?" She finally looked up, her expression annoyed. "Don't make it a big deal. It's one day. Katie will understand." "Did you already tell her I'm not coming?" A pause. Just a fraction of a second too long. "I mentioned you might have work stuff." Something cold settled in my chest. This wasn't a discussion. She'd already decided. Already lied to her best friend about why her boyfriend of 3 years wouldn't be there. "When were you planning to actually ask me?" I kept my voice level. "I'm asking now. Look, Trevor and I have history. Seeing us together might be weird for him. I'm just trying to be considerate. Considerate of him. Considerate of everyone. Why are you being so difficult about this?" I stood up and walked to the bedroom. She followed, that annoyed expression deepening. "Where are you going?" "To pack some things. I'm going to stay at Derek's for a few days." "Oh my God, you're seriously going to throw a tantrum over this?" I pulled my gym bag from the closet and started filling it with clothes. My hands were steady. I felt eerily calm. "I'm not throwing a tantrum, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend this is normal or okay. It's just one wedding." "No." I zipped the bag and turned to face her. "It's you prioritizing your ex's feelings over mine. It's you lying to your best friend about why I won't be there. It's you making a unilateral decision about our relationship without even pretending to care what I think." Her face flushed. "You're overreacting." "Maybe. Or maybe I'm finally seeing things clearly." I grabbed my laptop bag and keys. Michelle stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "If you walk out that door over something this stupid, we're done." I looked at her. Really looked at her. Waiting to see if she'd back down, apologize, anything. But her jaw was set, eyes hard. "I know," I said and walked past her. She didn't follow me. Didn't call out. I heard our apartment door close behind me with a soft click that felt impossibly loud. Derek's couch wasn't comfortable, but his beer was cold and he had the good sense not to ask too many questions that first night. "You need anything, man?" he asked around midnight. "Just some time to think." The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Michelle and a string of texts that evolved from angry to confused to slightly apologetic. Not actually apologetic though. More like, "I'm sorry you're upset," rather than, "I'm sorry I did something wrong." I didn't respond. Day 3, Katie called me. "Hey, I heard you and Michelle had a fight. She said you're not coming to the wedding." "She didn't tell you why?" A pause. "She said you were being stubborn about something." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "Did she mention she uninvited me because Trevor's going to be there?" "What?" "No. She said you had a work conflict, and then you guys fought about it." "Katie, I've had your wedding on my calendar for 8 months. I took the days off in January. There's no work conflict." "Oh." Another pause, longer this time. "Oh shit. Are you serious?" "Completely." I don't even know what to say. I invited Trevor because we've been friends since college, but I obviously want you there too. You're Michelle's boyfriend. You should be there." "Ex-boyfriend now, apparently. You guys broke up?" "She gave me an ultimatum. I called her bluff." Katie sighed. "She's been weird lately. Distant. I thought it was wedding stress on her end. You know, watching me get married while you two were just coasting." That word hit harder than it should have. Coasting. "Listen," Katie continued. "I'm going to talk to her. This is ridiculous." "Don't. It's not about the wedding anymore. It's about what the wedding revealed." I found a short-term rental and moved my stuff out while Michelle was at work. Left my key on the counter, took only what was definitely mine. Didn't even leave a note. What was there to say? She called that night, hysterical. "You moved out? You actually moved out. You said we were done." I didn't mean it. I was angry. Well, I wasn't. "So that's it. 3 years, and you're just gone." I almost backed down. Almost. 3 years was a long time. We'd talked about marriage, kids, growing old together. But then I remembered her face when she told me not to come. The casual dismissal. The prioritization of Trevor's comfort over my presence. "Michelle, answer me honestly. If I'd said okay, I won't come to the wedding, would you have respected me after that?" Silence. "Would you?" I pressed. "That's not fair. It's a simple question." "I don't know. Maybe. This doesn't have to be the end of everything. Yeah, I said. It does. I hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked her on social media. Cut it clean. The next few months were harder than I expected. Not because I missed her exactly, but because I missed the idea of her. The future we'd planned. The comfort of not being alone. Derek was convinced I'd made the right call. Dude. She literally uninvited you to a wedding because her ex was going. That's insane. What's next? You can't go to restaurants he likes? Can't vacation in cities he's visited? I know. Do you though? Because you've been moping for 6 weeks. I'm not moping. I'm processing. You're moping. Maybe I was. But by month 3, I started feeling better. Started going to the gym regularly again. Picked up guitar, something I'd abandoned when Michelle and I moved in together because she said it was too loud. Started actually enjoying my own company. Katie's wedding came and went. She sent me pictures. Said it was beautiful. Didn't mention Michelle or Trevor, which I appreciated. Work got busy. I took on a major project, something that would have annoyed Michelle because of the late nights. But now I could throw myself into it without guilt. By month 6, I realized I was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. Not getting over someone happy or fake it till you make it happy. Just content. That's when Michelle showed up. It was a Tuesday night. I was on my couch, guitar in lap, working through a song I'd been learning. The knock was soft at first, almost tentative. I ignored it. Probably a delivery for the previous tenant. The knock came again, more insistent. I set down the guitar and checked the peephole. Michelle stood in the hallway. Mascara streaked down her face, eyes red and swollen. My first instinct was to pretend I wasn't home. Let her keep knocking. But something in her expression stopped me. This wasn't angry Michelle or manipulative Michelle. This was broken Michelle. I opened the door. "Hi," she whispered. "What are you doing here? Can I come in? Please." Against my better judgment, I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, looking around my new place like she was seeing it for the first time. Which she was, I supposed. "Nice place," she said automatically. I didn't respond. Just waited. She sat on my couch, hands twisting in her lap. I destroyed my life. "Michelle." "No, let me say this. Please." She looked up at me, and the devastation in her eyes was real. "You were right. About everything. I was prioritizing Trevor. I was dismissing you. I was taking you for granted. Okay. That's it. Just okay. What do you want me to say?" She stood up, pacing now. "I want you to say you understand. I want you to say we can fix this." "Why now? It's been 6 months." Her face crumbled. "Because I finally understand what I lost." At Katie's wedding, Trevor barely talked to me. He brought a date. A gorgeous, successful date who he introduced as his fiancée. And I realized I'd thrown away my entire relationship with you to avoid awkwardness with a man who'd completely moved on and never thought about me at all. "That must have been hard," I said, and meant it. "It gets worse. After you left, I told everyone you were the bad guy, that you'd overreacted, been controlling, couldn't handle me having male friends." Katie believed me at first. My sister believed me. My mom believed me. And now, Katie cornered me at her reception, asked me point blank what really happened. And I couldn't lie anymore. I told her everything. About uninviting you. About the ultimatum. About how you just calmly walked away. She sank back onto the couch, head in her hands. She looked at me like I was a stranger. Said I'd become someone she didn't recognize. That the Michelle she knew would never prioritize an ex over her partner. Would never lie to her best friend. "I'm sorry," I said. She laughed bitterly. "You're sorry? I'm the one who ruined everything. What happened after the wedding? I tried to find you. Called Derek, but he wouldn't tell me where you were. Said you deserved peace. Showed up at your office, but security wouldn't let me up. I even tried to get your new address from the post office. How'd you find me? I hired a private investigator." She said it so matter-of-factly that I almost laughed. "You what?" "I know how it sounds. But I was desperate. I needed to see you. To explain. To apologize." I sat in the chair across from her, maintaining distance. "Okay. You've seen me. You've explained. You've apologized. Is there anything else?" Her eyes went wide. "Are you serious right now? What did you expect?" "I expected. I don't know. Something. Some reaction. You're just sitting there like I'm a stranger. Michelle, you showed up at my door after 6 months. 6 months where I rebuilt my life. 6 months where I learned to be happy alone. What did you think would happen? I thought you'd still care. I thought you'd want to work on things. I did care. 6 months ago when I packed my bags, I cared so much it hurt. When you called me that night, and I hung up, I cared. When I blocked your number, I cared. And now, I thought about it. Really thought about it. Now I'm indifferent." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "That's worse than hate." she whispered. I don't hate you. I don't love you either. You're just someone I used to date who made a choice. And I made a different choice. And we both have to live with that. So that's it. You won't even consider trying again. I leaned forward. Michelle, answer me honestly. If I took you back right now, would you respect me? The same question I'd asked 6 months ago. She opened her mouth, closed it. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I don't know, she finally whispered. There's your answer. She sobbed then, really sobbed. Part of me wanted to comfort her. Old habits die hard. But I stayed in my chair. I lost everything, she said through tears. Katie barely talks to me. My sister called me selfish. My mom said she was disappointed. And you're the biggest loss of all. You didn't lose me. You threw me away. I know that now. I was so stupid. I was so focused on not looking pathetic in front of Trevor that I didn't realize what I actually had with you. Why was that so important? Looking good in front of Trevor. She wiped her eyes. Because he broke up with me. 5 years together, and he just ended it. Said he didn't see a future. I was devastated. Then 2 years later I met you, and things were good. But there was always this voice in my head saying I was his second choice. That if he'd wanted to make it work, he would have. So you needed to prove something to him. Yes. God, yes. I needed him to see me with someone. To see that I'd moved on, that I was happy. But then Katie invited him, and I panicked. What if he could tell I wasn't as happy as I pretended? What if he saw through everything? So you removed me from the equation. I don't know what I thought. That it would be easier to pretend I was single than to risk him seeing any cracks. I shook my head. You know what the crazy thing is? We didn't have cracks. We were good. We could have been great. I know. But you were so busy comparing our relationship to your old one that you couldn't see what was right in front of you. She nodded miserably. We sat in silence for a long moment. The guitar sat in the corner where I'd left it. She glanced at it. You're playing again. Yeah. You sound good. I heard you through the door. Thanks. Another silence. I should go, she finally said, standing up. I walked her to the door. She paused in the doorway. Can I ask you something? Sure. Are you seeing anyone? No. But you're open to it. I thought about the girl at the coffee shop who'd smiled at me last week. The coworker who'd invited me to a concert. The dating app I'd downloaded but hadn't actually used yet. Yeah, I said. I'm open to it. She nodded slowly. Good. That's good. You deserve to be happy. So do you. Do I though? She laughed sadly. After everything I did, Michelle, you made a mistake. A big one. But you're not a terrible person. You're just someone who let insecurity drive your decisions. Learn from it. Do better next time. There won't be a next time like what we had. Maybe not. But there'll be something else. She stepped closer, and for a second I thought she might try to kiss me. But she just hugged me instead. A long, tight hug that felt like goodbye. I really am sorry, she whispered. I know. She pulled back, wiped her eyes one more time, and walked down the hallway. I watched her go, waiting to feel something. Regret. Sadness. Longing. But there was nothing. Just a quiet sense of closure. Derek came over that weekend with pizza and beer. So Michelle showed up? How'd you know? She called me. Said you two talked. Asked if I thought there was any chance. What did you tell her? I told her the truth. That you'd moved on. That you seemed genuinely happy. That maybe she should focus on doing the same. How'd she take it? About as well as you'd expect. He grabbed a slice. You okay? Yeah. Actually, yeah. No lingering feelings? I thought about it. Really examined my emotions. No. I think seeing her so broken was the final thing I needed. For months I wondered if I'd made the right choice. If I'd been too harsh. But watching her explain everything, hearing the real reasons behind her actions, it just confirmed I made the right call. Because she picked her ex over you? Because she was so insecure about her past that she couldn't appreciate her present. And that's not something I could have fixed. That's work she has to do herself. Derek raised his beer. To knowing your worth. I clinked my bottle against his. To knowing my worth. 3 weeks later, I ran into Katie at the grocery store. Hey. She seemed genuinely happy to see me. How are you? Good. Really good. How's married life? Amazing. Exhausting. We're redoing the bathroom, and it's a nightmare. She paused. I heard Michelle came to see you. News travels fast. She called me after. Said you two talked. That you were kind to her even though she didn't deserve it. She was hurting. No point twisting the knife. Katie studied me. You know, she's in therapy now. Actually dealing with her stuff. That's good. She said something interesting. That watching you walk away was the first time someone had actually held her accountable. That everyone else in her life always made excuses for her, but you just left. I wasn't trying to teach her a lesson. I was protecting myself. I know, but it taught her one anyway. Katie shifted her grocery basket. For what it's worth, I think you handled everything perfectly. You didn't yell, didn't try to control her, didn't play games. You just knew your boundaries and stuck to them. Took me 32 years to figure that out. She laughed. Better late than never. We chatted for a few more minutes, exchanged numbers, promised to grab coffee sometime. As I walked to my car, I realized I felt lighter. The last thread connecting me to that chapter of my life had finally been tied off. 4 months later, I matched with someone on that dating app I downloaded. Her name was Nicole. She was a veterinarian, and she loved terrible puns. We met for coffee, which turned into dinner, which turned into a long walk through the park. So, she said as we sat on a bench watching the sunset, tell me your worst dating story. I thought about Michelle, about the wedding invitation, about everything that had fallen apart and everything I'd rebuilt. You know what? I'll tell you that story eventually, but not tonight. Tonight, let's just enjoy this. She smiled. I like that answer. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek. How's the date? I typed back. Really good. And it was not because I was trying to prove something or fill a void, but because I was actually ready. Ready to be present. Ready to appreciate what was in front of me instead of comparing it to what had been behind me. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Nicole said something funny and I laughed. A real laugh that came from somewhere deep and genuine. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about what I'd lost. I was thinking about what I'd gained. 6 months ago, Michelle had made a choice. She'd picked comfort over commitment, ego over partnership, the past over the future. And I made a choice too. I'd picked self-respect over convenience, boundaries over codependency, my own worth over someone else's insecurity. She'd knocked on my door crying, saying she'd destroyed her life. But she hadn't destroyed mine. She'd just freed me to build a better one.